We need to talk about the Binance lawsuit, or the CFTC that's suing Binance, because if I'm right, the implications here may actually be much bigger than we think. And what we've seen is actually the tip of the iceberg. So I think we need to watch this video. We need to consider everything that could happen. I'm going to show you all the documents that I think may make this a little bit worse than it is now. And then I'm going to show you what the best trade is. So today is a very different show, but I think we need to all focus, get out of bed. Let's do this.
Get the fuck out of bed, bitch. Go. Get up, and they got go. Time to wake up, bitch. Get up. Get up. Get up.
Wakey, rise and shine. We've got a lot to talk about. Primarily today, we're going to be talking about the Binance being attacked by the CFTC, or Binance suing the CFTC. Could it actually get worse? Could there be a criminal case soon? Because the case that we currently have is a civil case, and civil cases are usually settled either out of court with penalties, or maybe not even with penalties. But generally, these things are settled with penalties. But if it becomes a criminal case, then things can get a whole lot worse. And we're going to talk about whether this thing can actually become a criminal case today. So it's going to be a very, very, very big show. Lots to talk about here. We're going to look at how the market's responding. Right now, you got Bitcoin trading at 26,900. I mean, I think Bitcoin's actually doing well, given if you look at the magnitude of what is potentially going on, Bitcoin's is I think doing very, very well. If you look at, let me show you some stats here just to give you an idea of the size of this. So I saw this article over here. Now what you're getting is Binance being attacked, and Binance controlled 92% of the Bitcoin spot trading volume at the end of 2022. That's how big this problem is. And so we have to understand what the next steps are. We can't put our head in the sand and pretend that it's all going to be okay when it may or may not going to be okay. We've got to look at all the options. That is what we're going to be doing here today. So that is where we're at. So listen, if you're new to the channel, welcome. Subscribe to our channel. We are the fastest growing major crypto channel in the world today. Also, if you're part of the fam, welcome back, guys. We'll be okay. We'll get through this. We'll get through this together. So leave us a comment in the comments. Give us a like. And yeah, let's get into the content, and let's actually look at where the hell we actually are. So I think always a good place to start is by looking at the Bitcoin chart, because that is probably the best gauge of market movement and what the market is perceiving the news, how the market is perceiving the news. Yesterday, before this announcement, I think we were at about 27,986. We were coming down during the day, and then we went all the way down to about 26,500 when this news broke. Now, even with this setback, if you think about this, we only actually have gone back in terms of price to where we were 10 days ago. So we've only taken a 10-day setback in price. It's not the biggest setback in price. And if you compare Bitcoin in the month of March relative to any other asset class, so I mean, obviously, okay, I'm back. Can you guys see me? I'm back. Okay, let me try and get my old one off. Okay, cool.
Sorry, our Wi-Fi just cut, guys. It's gonna jump back on.
I'm back. I hope that I'm the only one who's back, right? Okay, awesome. I'm back. Let me get my screen back, and then we'll be back. Back on the horse over here. Hold on a second. We'll be back in 1 second. All right, so let's go back to where we were. So apologies for that, guys. We did have some technical breakdown, but even with the Bitcoin pullback, Bitcoin is still the best performing asset class in the month of March. When you compare it to gold, when you compare it with stocks, when you compare it to cash, it is the best performing asset class in the month of March. And if you look at what we've done this year, we had a 39% increase in Jan, 0.03 in Feb. We're still up 17.19% in March. So even with this setback, and this is the one of the biggest setbacks that Bitcoin has had. I mean, here you're getting the biggest exchange, its CEO, and all the related companies being attacked by the CFTC. And Bitcoin didn't even go under 27,000. Now, that doesn't tell you something. That doesn't tell you that we're in a bull market. I don't think anything will tell you that we're in a bull market. There is also another indicator that shows that we're in a bull market. I saw this. In the last months, if you look at the monthly candles on Bitcoin, so let's quickly go to here and let's quickly go to the monthly candle. So you have the monthly candle. And if you look at the monthly candle for the last 3 months, Bitcoin is up 3 months in a row. Now, the indicator here shows that every time that we've had 3 positive months in a row, that's been the beginning of a bull market. It happened over here in 2012 and 2013. It happened here in 2016. It happened here in 2019. And it's just happened again in 2023. When I combine the fact that Binance has been attacked and the Bitcoin price has just gone under 27,000, with all the other indicators, I can tell you that this feels very much like a bull market. But even with a bull market, when Binance gets attacked, it is a setback for the market. And if you look at the bubbles, most of the bubbles are, of course, going to be red today. There are obviously a couple of exceptions. As expected, GMX is an exception. We'll talk about that. XRP has been doing crazy things. I think it's going to break 50 cents again. And if it does break 50 cents, I mean, if it breaks 51, probably next level is 55, and then above that 56 cents. The market's telling you that there might be news coming out on XRP. So that's another thing which we'll talk about a bit later in the show. Let's look at Arbitrum. So actually, let's look at BNB. BNB, $310. Interesting. I would have thought that BNB would have taken a much bigger hit. Arbitrum. Okay, let's look at it on a 4-hour chart. So it's trading at a $1.14. I did say to you, I'm not a buyer of this thing. I'm actually looking for it to start mimicking these charts. You can see if you look at the Arbitrum chart, it is starting to look exactly the same as the other charts, where it goes up like that, starts coming down, and eventually we'll get to some kind of low point, and then people will actually start buying it. So I guess it is doing exactly that. So yeah, that's what the charts are telling us. That's what the charts are telling us. Now let's get into the big story of the day, because there's a lot to talk about when it comes to the big story of the day. The big story of the day, of course, is the CFTC going after Binance. So CFTC stands for Commodities Futures Trading Commission, and it's going out after a whole lot of Binance related entities. It's going after CZ, 𝗟𝗵𝗆𝗍. It's going after Binance Holding Limited, Binance Holding IE Limited, Binance Services Holdings Limited, and a guy called Samuel Lin. Samuel Lin was the Binance ex-head of compliance. So it seems that the CFTC is going for all those parties. What is the CFTC going after them for? So I'm going to read you a little excerpt from the CFTC charges. But what it says is, the CFTC charges Binance and its founder 𝗟𝗵𝗆𝗍 with willful evasion of federal law and operating an illegal digital asset derivative exchange. So pretty serious wording and pretty serious charges. If the first part of the wording is where it says willful evasion, and the second one thing is operating illegal digital asset derivatives exchange. So this is all about operating probably illegally, and specifically operating a derivatives exchange, a perpetuals exchange in the United States. And that's really what the majority of the allegations in the CFTC report are all about. They are about Binance allegedly knowing that US customers were using derivatives on its platform, and still, even though they knew that US customers were using derivatives on their platform, they found ways to circumvent or to allow the US residents to keep illegally trading derivatives on their platform. Now, you'll know that when it comes to crypto derivatives, there actually isn't a crypto derivatives exchange which is licensed to operate in the United States. The one that allegedly came closest was, of course, FTX, but then the whole FTX collapse happened. So that is what this lawsuit is about. And it is quite a damning lawsuit. I think one of the things that we notice at the beginning of the lawsuit is that they seem to have CZ's cell phone, or they seem to have had CZ's mobile phone and to have copied it. Because one of the allegations, or one of the things that it says in section 54, it says, Zhao has communicated over Signal with an auto-delete functionality enabled with numerous Binance officers, employees, and agents for various purposes. The following Signal text chains or group chats collected from Zhao's telephone were amongst those auto-deleted. Okay, so the first thing we know is that they have this guy, Samuel Lin. And the second thing we know is that they actually have, or they at some point have had CZ's mobile phone. And you can imagine that if they had CZ's mobile phone, they probably would have got privy to a whole lot of information. Now let's look deeper into all the allegations, because we've got to look at specifically into every single one of the allegations and see whether this could spiral beyond what it is now. Right now, as you can see here, it's a civil complaint. It's a civil case. In a civil case, generally, the two parties usually land up with some kind of financial settlement, okay? That's generally what happens in a civil case. In a criminal case, though, you can land up by going to prison. Now, what is the CFTC seeking here? The CFTC is seeking, and I want to read this quickly. It is saying that in continuing litigation against the defendants, the agency seeks disgorgement, which is giving back of all the money and all the profits that you've made, civil monetary penalties. So they want Binance to pay and CZ to pay civil monetary penalties, permanent trading and registration bans. In other words, permanent trading bans and registration bans. And I think this pertains to the United States. In fact, it does pertain to the United States. And a permanent injunctions against further violations of the CA and FTC regulations as charged. So basically, a permanent injunction against continuing to trade in the United States. Those are serious asks of the court. Now, that's normal in a case that you request the most aggressive asks from the court, and you hope that because you've requested so much that the court give you a little bit. So you don't really get too panicked by that situation. Now let's actually go through a whole lot of the different sections in the case. What do they know? What are they accusing him of? The first thing is they talk about the period no later than July 2019. That's a very important case, because what it shows is that what they're talking about is they're talking about the early days of Binance. Now, we know with any business that a business starts off in one way, and then a business starts to learn where people are defrauding, making mistakes and stuff like that. And then you can create systems and processes to plug issues in your business. Now that happens with every business, and I'm sure that Binance was no different. You start off doing one thing. In fact, you'll remember that when Binance started off allowing people to trade, their listing criteria were a lot less. Their KYC criteria almost didn't exist. But in time, as they grew, they resourced up and they created a much better, much tighter exchange. So one of the things that they're saying here, they're saying beginning no later than July 2019, and they carry on, they're saying Binance, under Zhao's direction and the control of Lim, willful and substantial assistance has solicited and accepting orders, accepted property, blah, 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 until they get to the point here. Involving digital assets that are commodities, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin for persons in the United States. This clearly says that digital assets, including commodities. Now, you remember that the SEC came out and actually said that ETH is actually a security, specifically when they went up against KuCoin. And I think that was about a month ago. You'll remember the New York Attorney General came out and said, hold on, Ether is a security. Here, the CFTC, which is another regulatory body in the States, is saying, no, we're saying that ETH is actually a commodity. Very, very, very confusing. The regulators here can't even agree. How are we supposed to agree? Let me show you something else, which I picked up in this document. It's a 75-page document. You don't need to read it because I've read it. So look at clause 24, section 24. It says, a digital asset is anything that can be stored and transmitted electronically and has ownership rights or use rights. Digital assets include virtual currencies that are digital representations of value that functions as a medium of exchange, unit of account, and or stores of value. Certain digital assets, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, and at least 2 fiat-backed stablecoins, USDT and BUSD, as well as other virtual currencies alleged herein, are commodities. So in this document, they are saying that Bitcoin, ETH, Litecoin, and USDT and BUSD are all commodities, which is really strange, because about a month ago, Paxos received a US SEC notice about Binance's stablecoin, which is the BUSD. So if the SEC is getting involved, and they are the Securities Exchange Commission, and the CFTC are also coming after them, but saying that they're commodities, how the hell are crypto people, how the hell are crypto exchanges supposed to know what's going on? If the regulators are fighting amongst themselves, how the hell are the operators supposed to know what the hell is going on? That is part of what's going on here. It does feel in certain parts of this that this is a battle not only against Binance and crypto, but also it is the CFTC making a statement against the SEC saying, this is our jurisdiction. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, USDT. Surprised they didn't mention USDC because there's no difference between USDT and USDC. Those are all commodities. And it feels like Binance may be getting involved in the two parents which are fighting. It could be that it seems like the CFTC is now coming out and making a statement to the SEC saying, this is our jurisdiction, get out of our jurisdiction. But look, it does go on to do a whole lot of other things. So it says this. Binance began sending mails to US customers pursuant to the policy. 𝗧𝗏 had the following exchange with an employee who would ultimately become Binance's head of institutional sales. The team member. Hi, CZ. I went through a list of affected API clients. It includes a number of large strategic accounts, including a Chicago headquartered trading firm who is currently in our top 5 clients and represents 12% of our volume. Allegedly, according to this, CZ answered, give them a heads up and ensure they don't connect from a US IP address. Don't leave anything in writing. They have non-US entities. Let's also make sure we don't hit the biggest market makers with the first email. Do you have Signal? Signal obviously being a communication app which is encrypted. So according to this, allegedly, CZ instructed someone in his organization to potentially break the law, if this is correct. Let's go to the next one. Internally, Binance officers and agents have acknowledged that Binance platform has been facilitated potentially illegal activities. For example, in February 2019, after receiving information regarding Hamas transactions, Hamas is a terrorist organization group on Binance, Lim, who was the head of compliance, explained to a colleague that terrorists usually send small sums of money as opposed to large sums because large sums constitute money lending. Lim's colleague replied, can barely buy an AK-47 with $600. And with this, and with regard to certain Binance customers, including customers from Russia, Lim acknowledged in February 2020, like, come on, they're here for the crime. Binance's MLRO agreed, we see the bad, but we close 2 eyes. So again, quite damning allegations. Let's look at some more of the allegations. Okay. While Binance has maintained offices in numerous locations, including Singapore, Malta, Dubai, Tokyo, at various times in the relevant period, Binance intentionally does not disclose the location of its executive offices. Instead, 𝗧𝗏 stated that Binance's headquarters is wherever he is located at the time. 𝗧𝗏 explained the strategy during a 2019 internal meeting. So the way that Binance was structured, it was structured in such a way that they don't have a head office and that it operates through licenses all around the world. Now, the CFTC is saying that was done intentionally to avoid this kind of litigation. Okay, let's go through a couple of other ones. Okay. Another important benefit that Binance has provided its VIP customers is prompt notification of any law enforcement inquiry concerning their account. According to a policy titled "For Management of LE Requests for Information and Funds Transfer" created by Lim based on directions from 𝗟𝗏, Binance instructed its VIP team to notify its customers at a point in time, at a point of account being frozen, and immediately after the unfreeze, the VIP team is to contact the user through all available means and inform them that their account has been frozen and unfrozen. Do not tell the user to run, just tell them that their account has been unfrozen and it was investigated by whatever the thing is. So showing people that they were almost creating a service to appease criminals, basically, or to help criminals. Okay. They also accuse Binance of having a trading desk which trades against its own customers. So having a trading desk which is designed to trade against its own customers. So what it says in point 70, it says, Binance does not disclose to its customers that Binance is trading on its own markets in its terms of use elsewhere. Consistent with its apparent attempt to keep its proprietary trading activity in its own market top secret, Binance has refused to respond to the commission-issued investigative subpoenas seeking information concerning its proprietary trading activity. They allege that Binance has 300 house accounts which allegedly trade against their own users. All right, let's look at some more. In 2019, 𝗟𝗏 and BAM launched Binance US, a digital asset spot market platform that offers its services to US customers. When he hired BAM Trading's first CEO, 𝗟𝗏 described Binance as a pirate ship and explained that he wished for Binance US to be a Navy boat. So almost showing that Binance US is a little derivative of the main thing. Now remember that CZ has been saying all along that Binance US is actually a very separate entity which is owned completely by somebody else. Okay, this is where it gets a little bit more interesting. If you can't pass a compliance audit, just fake one entirely. Also, it's very good for money laundering reporting officer to has no confidence in the company's ability to stop money laundering. Binance also intentionally tried to hide the scope of its compliance programs. For example, in or around October 2020, Binance underwent a compliance audit to satisfy requests from Paxos. But according to Lim, Binance purposely engaged a compliance auditor that would just do a half-assed individual sub-account on geofencing to buy us more time as part of this audit. So almost saying, just you can't get an audit, just create an audit, just make something, just create something that would pass the test. Okay, next one. If your job is to be responsible for compliance, it's not enough to just say, hey, I need to remind you need to be compliant. Also, if you're not willing to sign off on something, you probably should just not work here. So telling people that they shouldn't work there if they're not willing to sign off on something, specifically speaking to Binance's head of legal. Hold on a second. Let's look at, there are a few more that I wanted to show you. I think, okay, so yeah. Binance's revenue reports rely entirely on data drawn from Binance's internal database. The monthly revenue report for September 2020 shows that 2.51 million customers were located inside the US. That same month, Binance's revenue report shows that 0.31 million Binance customers' locations were unknown. This report provided to 𝗟𝗏 and at least members of the senior management team. This is the report they got. Then, in October, the same month, a rival digital asset exchange and its principals were sued by the CFTC. 𝗟𝗏 directed Binance personnel to replace the US value for certain data fields as unknown. So manipulating reports so that when people see them, they would be unknown. Okay, next one. Beginning in July 2018, prior to the relevant period, trading firm B began trading digital assets in Binance's spot market through an account held in the wholly owned through a wholly owned Hong Kong subsidiary. On February 13th, Trading B tried to open a futures account and received an error message. Senior Binance personnel then concluded this may have been due to the US IP, or the UBO would be a US person. Binance employees chatted, "How annoying," and surmised that trading firm B's account was grandfathered from back before Binance screened for its location for customers. So almost saying, well, US customers could trade on the platform. So anyway, so this is the nature of the allegations, and these allegations go on and on and on. Don't read the full 75. I think I've summarized the best ones for you. And so that is the nature of what they have against CZ. And I remind you that what they have against CZ right now is a civil case. So civil case is where the CFTC sue CZ, Binance, and hopefully the way that this ends is literally in one of two or three ways. The first one is we get a settlement in the near term. The second one is we get a protracted multi-year legal case, which either ends in a settlement or a court-decided resolution. A court-decided resolution, which is effectively just a financial penalty, and maybe if the CFTC get their way, CZ will get all those things that I spoke about earlier. So that is when it comes to the civil case. But then I read a tweet by Alan Cochrane, and I think that I agree with him, and I'm even going to take it one step further. He said, on all counts, the CFTC seeks to ban CZ and LIM and all affiliates from engaging in any of the conduct described in the case, from trading on registered entities, holding any commodity or asset, directing any trading in commodities or assets, accepting funds from anyone, etc., etc. Also, to pay back in fine the trading profits, revenues, salaries, and commissions and loans that were derived from all US persons. So they want to unscramble the egg. They want to go back and say, show us all the money you made from US persons and pay that money back to us in a fine. Now he says, and I don't agree with him here, he says, this means Binance US could be dead forever. Market makers with US clients are gone from Binance, and so on and so forth. He also says, if CZ and LIM fail to engage with the US courts, now I don't believe that could happen, and fail to defend themselves in a trial, the CFTC would win flat out and some criminal and contempt obstruction charges would be added back. This is the thing that I'm worried about. I'm not worried that CZ and LIM aren't going to engage with the CFTC, because I believe that they're going to hire very good lawyers and they're going to fight this, and they're going to fight this till the death. Or if they're not fighting it till the death, they will settle with the CFTC. So I don't think that CZ is about to run from the law. What does worry me, however, is that if I look at the allegations that are inside these documents, things like willfully and knowingly trying to circumvent a way to get US users to trade on Binance, willfully and knowingly removing US from reports and putting unknown so that you can mask this when you show people the reports. To me, and I'm not a lawyer, that sounds like willfully and knowingly promoting criminal activities. If the allegations are right, and they knew that there was money going on, money transfers going on to Hamas, and that people in the US were using their IP or changing IP addresses, if they knew that, then this could quite easily become a criminal case. It's all fun and games when there's a civil case, but when there's a criminal case, then it gets really serious. Then you can look at spending time in prison, like Arthur Hayes did, like a whole lot of other people did. And there was another tweet where I saw that the CFTC chief said the following things on Binance. He said, we had to step in aggressively and do it as quickly as possible because this was ongoing fraud. Now, I mean, he's not mincing his words. If this was ongoing fraud, then fraud is a criminal case. Fraud is not a civil case where you pay a penalty. Fraud is a criminal case. And I think that if I read between the lines here, my biggest concern is that this is a civil case but that the Attorney General is going to come out and actually start with a criminal case. And if the criminal case happens, then I think that the impact on price is going to be much bigger than the impact on price that we saw specifically when it came to the civil case. I'm not too worried about the civil case because specifically in financial services and banking, these civil cases are actually par for the course. In fact, the big banks have these civil cases all the time. They know they're doing shit wrong and they do shit wrong and they get these huge penalties. Like here, MF Global to pay $100 million fine in a CFTC settlement. It's nothing new. JP Morgan to pay $920 million for manipulating the precious metals market. These are par for the course. Here, SocGen confirms, this is today, that a search is underway at its premises. BNP Paribas and all the other banks also searched by French police. So these happened with the banks all the time, and they settled all the time. So for as long as this is a civil case, no worries. It's actually, to be honest, what most people in these big banks do is they make risk return decisions. And they say, look, what's the worst case that can happen? We're going to get a penalty by the CFTC. We pay the penalty. It's a $100 million fine. How much money did we actually make? And according to this report, on some months, Binance was making as much as $1 billion a month profit. $1 billion a month profit. So, hell, if I was sitting at the top of Binance and said, hold on a second, we have two options here. Either to be completely regulatory compliant in the US or not to be regulatory compliant and pay $100 million fine sometime in the future. Hell, I'm making $1 billion a month. I'll pay the $100 million fine in the future. No problem with that. I wouldn't even think twice. All right. What now? So first thing is we had CZ respond. He responded 4, as he always does. 4 means it's FUD. There's nothing to worry about. That comes from CZ. Then today, he also published a response. Now, I did try and get him onto our spaces last night. We had a spaces last night. Mario joined us. I tried to get CZ to join us. Obviously, he couldn't join us. I think it was too soon because he'd probably just read the allegations. But today he published this response to the allegations. And I want to actually read you the response here. He says, today, the CFTC filed an unexpected and disappointing civil complaint despite our working cooperatively with the CFTC for over 2 years. In that line, what I read is that maybe the CFTC was doing this to go up against the SEC. That's what I'm reading there, because that's the first thing. Second thing is, upon initial review of the complaint seems to contain certain incomplete recitation of facts, and we do not agree with the characterization of many of the issues in the complaint. While we'll only be able to give the full response in due time, we'll address a few of the key points. Technology for compliance and US blocks. He says, listen, we have amazing ways to comply with blocking out US people. He says Binance.com is the first global non-US exchange to implement a mandatory KYC program and remains today to have the highest standard of KYC and AML. We block US users by nationality, IP, including used VPN endpoints in the US. He says we've also been cooperative and transparent with law enforcement agencies. Binance also holds the highest number of licenses and regulations. And it says trading Binance.com does not trade for profit or manipulate the market. So he addresses all of these things. What concerns me here is that he's not addressing any of the actual allegations before 2019. What he spoke about is he spoke about all the things that they have in place today. We know what they have in place today. What we're concerned about and what the CFTC is talking about is not today. They're talking about what happened before 2019. Now, my suspicion is that before 2019, Binance wasn't the cleanest shop in the world. But then as they started growing, they became cleaner and cleaner and cleaner. I think that that's true for most cryptocurrency exchanges. And that's why I think that if we don't get a criminal case here, and I really hope we don't get a criminal case here, then this will go away with just paying of a fine. That's it. There'll be a fine. This will go away. That'll be the end of it. If we don't get a criminal case here. If we get a criminal case here, all bets are off. Now, remember, we've seen this before. This is not the first time that a very, very, very similar action has actually been taken against crypto companies. In fact, this happened just before the beginning of the biggest monster of all bull runs ever. We had an exchange called BitMex. Now, BitMex was the most popular derivatives exchange, which was run and owned by 𝗧𝗍𝗄𝗧. And on October 1st, 2020, they announced that they were filing a civil lawsuit against 𝗧𝗍𝗄𝗧. That also went into a criminal lawsuit. But for the civil lawsuit, what they did was, first of all, that set off the hugest bull market. It was the beginning of the bull market. I'm not saying that the one happens to the other, but they also got an award that BitMex had to pay $100 million for illegally operating a cryptocurrency trading platform and for anti-money laundering violations in the States. Big fine? Yeah, it is. It's huge. $100 million is huge. But bear in mind that BitMex was making billions of dollars in those days. So is it a big fine? Well, not really. You make a couple of $1 billion, you pay the CFTC $100 million. The only difference between that case and this case is that on this case, 𝗧𝗍𝗄𝗧, who was the founder of BitMex, actually also spent some time, not in jail, but he was actually forced into house arrest. And we spoke to him about that the last time that he was on our show. This time is a bit different though. This time is a bit different because BitMex is not Binance. Binance, as you can see, have the majority of the trading volumes in the market. So this dark blue block is Binance, and these are all the other exchanges put together, including Coinbase. So this is huge. And in fact, when I saw this, the first thing that I thought is that Coinbase should actually be the token that will actually spike, right? So I went to check the Coinbase token, and yesterday I saw that the Coinbase token also actually went down. So yesterday, Coinbase token went from 64 down to 62. So that didn't actually, I thought if Binance goes down, investors will say, hold on, if Binance goes down, what are the other big regulated exchanges? And logically, it would probably be Coinbase, but the Coinbase share didn't actually go up. What we do see though, is we do see that the SEC, the CFTC, the attorney generals are very, very, very much going after crypto. This is just another one of those hits that we have against crypto. In the past week, we had Coinbase hit with the Wells notice, SEC sues Justin Sun. We had Kwon, who was arrested. And by the way, I'm sure you guys all saw this, but this is him in handcuffs getting put into the van in Montenegro.
Yeah.
So that is him being ushered away in Montenegro. There must be good food in Montenegro. But what I'm hearing now is we thought that he was going to get extradited to either South Korea, where it's his country, it's his homeland, or to the US, because it feels like all the jurisdictions want to have a bite at Kwon. The US, there's fraud charges against him and he's been sued. And the same thing's happening in South Korea. So the question is, who and where does he get extradited to first? And today I found out that actually what's going to happen is he's actually not going to be extradited immediately, because first the Serbian government says, no. The guy had fake passports, fake foreign passports, which is a felony, which is punishable by up to 5 years in prison in Montenegro. So it could be that Kwon will actually spend some time in prison in Montenegro or in Serbia first. After that, he'll go and face the music in either Korea or the US. Now, I mean, you call it sweet justice. I don't know if it's sweet justice. I think where he went wrong is when he started like faking passports and shit. I think the Terra project failing, not the end of the world. You tried and you failed, but when you start being on the run and you start faking passports and that's not, I mean, that's a different game. So as I said to you, the first thing I did yesterday, I went and looked at Coinbase. That's the first thing I did. Coinbase moved down, not into my buy zone. I'm looking to buy this between 45 and 55. So not cheap enough for me to buy. Next thing I wanted to see where are the trades here? Are people going to move their money out of centralized exchanges into decentralized exchanges? First thing I did was I went to look at Binance. Are people withdrawing their money out of Binance? No. Look, there's still $63 billion in Binance. Some money did go out, but not enough money to talk about a bank run. So I saw this tweet, and it's true. This is exactly what it is. It's people are looking at the decentralized exchanges. GMX, you saw GMX is flying. Why is GMX flying? Because people want their money off centralized exchanges into the decentralized exchanges. See, XRP is still going up. HEX going down, 7 cents. Not good. Not good for HEX people. HEX people must hold on tight. Enjoy the ride. Let's see what else. Let's see what else there is. There is a whole lot more that I wanted to show you. All right, let's go into a little bit of fun and alpha and narratives and stuff like that. So that's the Binance story. Let me know what you think will happen in the case below. Let me know what will happen. Let me know if you think this is going to spread to become a criminal case or whether it's going to end at a civil case and it's just going to get settled with a whole lot of fines and penalties and stuff like that. I hope that it goes away. I mean, you know, CZ's a friend of mine. We've known each other for a long time. He's actually a friend, a real close friend. So I don't know if you know. I really hope that this doesn't end badly. I really hope it doesn't end badly. Let's look at some other things that are happening. First thing is, we spoke yesterday about ZK technology. We spoke about Polygon launching their first ZK zero knowledge proof EVM chain. Yesterday, Vitalik actually did the first ZK EVM transaction on a live video. So we are making progress from that point of view. And as I said to you, I think that this ZK EVM is actually the new narrative. I also saw this. You know that we've been trying to get the Binance US buying Voyager deal approved. And we went there, and as soon as we did that, the SEC came in and said, okay, no, hold on. We're going to protect investors, and we're going to block this deal. And then the judge said, no, I'm not going to let you block this deal. Well, now what they've gone and done is they've asked for an emergency stay. So again, this deal has now been put on hold to protect investors, I also saw this article which says that the US government actually today owns more Bitcoin than MicroStrategy and Tesla combined. So they got Bitcoin because they seized Bitcoin in a whole lot of different cases. So today, the US government actually own more Bitcoin than all of those combined. I saw this as well, which might actually interest you guys. MetaMask, apparently, according to this article, I don't think it's true, but let's see. They may be doing their airdrop. I don't think that this is true. But if it is true, then they'll take a snapshot on the 31st of March. I don't think that this... I know MetaMask are going to do a wallet because Joe Lubin specifically said that it is going to launch a token, but I don't think it is yet. But if you don't use MetaMask, maybe it's a good time to actually start using MetaMask to try and get part of the airdrop. All right, a few other things. So first of all, remember we're running the OKX promotion. I want to just show you the OKX promotion. Let's quickly go here, and I want to just show you OKX promotion. Okay, here we go. So remember there's the OKX promotion where in week 1 we are giving away week 1, 27th of March. That was is today the 27th or yesterday the 27th? Anyway, 27th of March, giving away an Apple iPhone. So today we have to give away the Apple iPhone. So this is the list of the potential winners. Now, if you are the first winner to send us a picture of your user ID on OKX, you get the iPhone. Here are all the numbers that are eligible to win. I'm going to leave them up on the screen for you guys. I'm not going to read them. Let me just zoom in because it is a little bit unfair for people that don't have big vision. Okay, you can see that. Those are the user IDs. If your user ID is there, and you can see we've chosen some whales and some people that are very small traders. If your user ID is there, then you have to send a mail to giveaways@cryptobanter.com with a picture of your UID off your OKX screen, and you can win. And the first person to get it right will actually win the iPhone. So that there is a list of all the winners. Then if you do open a KuCoin account, and there's a link below to open a KuCoin account, and you deposit $50, you get something. What do you get? You get $4.50. Wow. Okay, when that happens, don't spend the $4.50 all at once. Spend it slowly. Also, remember. Don't say I didn't tell you this. Don't say I didn't tell you this. We are going to take people with us to the Formula One. If you sign up with Bybit, because Bybit, of course, sponsors the Red Bull team. If you sign up with Bybit and you trade with Bybit, every trade gets a raffle, and we will eventually take you guys with us to the Formula One. We're just finalizing the details of which Formula One race, and we're going to take you to the Red Bull factory, etc., etc. So that is it. In fact, let's actually check the research group and just see is there anybody. Let's actually have a look here. Okay, that we do have. Hold on, we do actually have a message from Binance. Hold on one second. We do have a message here from Binance. Let's have a look here. Okay, so what they say is, hi, no doubt you have seen in the news about Binance and the CFTC complaint. We wanted to reach out to your team directly. First of all, the CFTC sued Binance for allegedly allowing US customers to trade crypto derivatives on its platform without registering with the CFTC. There are no accusations of Binance stealing customer funds or taking significant risk with them. The article describes a series of regulatory moves against the crypto industry, with the SEC suggesting Coinbase Global might be operating illegally due to its listing of various crypto assets. The article suggests CFTC's complaint against Binance is seen as a continuation of this crackdown. The article also suggests that this crackdown shows that US regulators are determined to extend their jurisdiction over the global critical market. Needless to say, these interactions with global regulators are part and parcel of running an exchange and being the standard bearer for the Web3 world which we are in. We are committed to continuing protecting our users and collaborate with the regulators on behalf of the entire industry. So that's a response that we got from Binance. I also just got a message while I'm talking to you that Flex, there is a demo ready that the exchange is actually starting to work. Let's see what the price is doing. $2.72. Not bad for those of you who got in at 50 cents or even at $1. Is there anything else happening? I don't see anything else happening. Let's quickly just look and just make sure that I give you breaking news up to the minute. Up to the minute. There's nothing else happening. In fact, people are actually talking a lot about Casper, KASPA. I want to just show you this Casper token. This Casper token has had an unreal run this year. It is a layer 1 protocol, which works very similar to how EOS used to work. So you can see that if I take the performance just this year, which is from, call it from here, Casper has actually gone up from 0.04 to about 21 cents, which is, or 2.1 cents, which is about a 5x, 6x, which is, it's ripping. It's absolutely ripping. Yeah, I don't know. I will do some more research and tell you whether we think you guys should actually buy it. Someone says, look at the research group here. Okay, hold on. Oh, here's a big juicy one. I've got a juicy one for you. US says Bankman-Fried directed the bribe in order to unfreeze Alameda Research's trading accounts that Chinese authorities had frozen and which held more than 1 billion of cryptocurrency. Wow. Okay. Big news. Sounds fun. I'll see you guys again tomorrow. Until then, let's just quickly look at the Bitcoin price. Yeah, until then, just stay safe, guys. Stay safe. If you believe that this is a bull market, maybe buy the dip. Sheldon says old season's coming. Right? I think I need to get onto a show with Sheldon. And by the way, while Sheldon says old season's coming, I think you got to take your head off to Kyle. I mean, Kyle's. I want to show you something. I think it's absolutely brilliant. So first of all, Kyle has been calling this market unbelievably. So let's just quickly go here and you can have a look at it. So Kyle has been calling this market absolutely perfectly. You can see that he flipped bearish yesterday just before this news. So look at Kyle shows over here. He says Bitcoin dump loading. This was his show yesterday. This was the show that he did yesterday. He saw in the charts that there was a dump coming. He called it spot on, and now he says that his next target is 24,000. Listen, I'll see you guys again tomorrow. Until then, have fun, stay safe, and trade well, my friends.